Welcome back to the project. Part one was a long one, but honestly, it had to be. There was a lot of steel to cut, a lot of welding to do, and a lot of planning that went into getting this gate to the point where it actually looked like a gate. In this video, we're going to finish things up. The big focus today is building the custom lanterns, adding the artwork, getting everything cleaned up and ready for installation, and finally seeing this gate in its new home. These lanterns are something I've been looking forward to from the very beginning. Since this project was inspired by America's upcoming 250th anniversary, I wanted to incorporate some patriotic artwork that would help tell a story and make the entrance feel unique. The goal wasn't just to build a gate. The goal was to create something that people would stop and look at, something that combines craftsmanship, metal art, and a little bit of American history all into one project. So let's get started. At this stage, the gate itself is mostly complete, but now it's time to focus on the details. And as any builder knows, details are usually what separate a good project from a great one. The lanterns start as individual steel components, nothing fancy at this point, just cut pieces that need to be fitted together accurately and consistently. One thing I always try to do during fabrication is think several steps ahead. Every cut, every weld, and every measurement affects what happens later in the project. If something is even slightly out of square now, it can create problems when it comes time for final assembly. So even though this part might not look exciting, it's incredibly important. The lanterns have to be strong, they have to be symmetrical, and they have to match the overall style of the gate. As the pieces start coming together, you can finally begin to see the vision taking shape. What started as a pile of steel slowly becomes something recognizable. That's one of my favorite parts of fabrication. There comes a moment when the project stops looking like individual parts and starts looking like the finished product, and we're getting close to that point. Grinding, fitting, checking measurements, making adjustments. It's all part of the process. Sometimes the camera makes these projects look quick and easy, but the reality is that every clean weld and every finished surface represents a lot of time behind the scenes. The goal is always the same. Make it look like it was meant to be that way from the beginning. The artwork. This is where the XTOOL metal fab really shines. The artwork for these lanterns was inspired by the 250th anniversary of America. I wanted imagery that represented freedom, patriotism, and the history that helped shape this country. These pieces may be small compared to the gate itself, but they add a tremendous amount of character. Without the artwork, they're just lanterns. With the artwork, they become something special. As each design gets fitted into place, you can start to see how everything works together. The steel frame provides the structure, the artwork provides the personality, and when the two come together, you get something that's both functional and artistic. One thing I love about modern fabrication is the ability to blend technology with traditional craftsmanship. Tools like the metal fab allow you to create intricate details that would have taken countless hours by hand. But even with advanced equipment, there's still a tremendous amount of work required. The designs still have to be cleaned up, they still have to be fitted, and they still have to be integrated into the project in a way that looks intentional. That's where the craftsmanship comes in. Technology helps, but attention to detail is what makes the difference. As these patriotic designs find their place inside the lanterns, the project starts gaining a whole new level of depth. Now it's telling a story, not just serving a purpose. With the artwork installed, it's time to finish the fabrication work. This stage involves a lot of cleanup, grinding welds, removing sharp edges, checking fitment, making sure everything is ready for the final finish. This isn't the glamorous part of the build. Most people probably wouldn't even notice if it wasn't done, but that's exactly why it's important. The best craftsmanship often goes unnoticed because everything simply looks right. Every corner gets inspected. Every surface gets checked, every weld gets evaluated. The goal is consistency because when the powder coat goes on, everything becomes permanent. Any flaw that's left behind now will still be there later. So this is the time to make corrections. This is the time to slow down and make sure the work meets the standard. As the lanterns continue to take shape, it's exciting to compare them to where they started. A few hours earlier, they were just pieces of steel. Now they're becoming a centerpiece of the entire entrance. And that's incredibly rewarding. With fabrication complete, it's time to start thinking about installation. And that means shifting focus from the shop to the job site. The gate may look finished in the shop, but installation is where everything gets tested. Measurements become real, clearances become important, and all of the planning either pays off or creates extra work. Fortunately, preparation goes a long way. The more time you spend thinking ahead, the smoother installation tends to go. Before the gate can be installed, the site itself needs attention. Everything has to be positioned correctly, the opening has to be ready, and the supporting infrastructure has to be capable of handling the weight and movement of the gate. A gate like this isn't something you just set in place and walk away from. Every detail matters. Alignment matters, elevation matters, and even small adjustments can make a huge difference in how the finished gate operates. Back at the property, the equipment comes out and the real work begins. This is where fabrication meets construction. The site needs to be prepared properly before the gate can be installed. That means excavation, moving material, creating a solid foundation, and making sure everything is positioned exactly where it needs to be. Site work often takes longer than people expect. It's one of those parts of a project that doesn't always show in the final photos, but it's absolutely critical. A beautiful gate is only as good as the foundation supporting it, so taking the time to get this right is worth every minute. As the excavation progresses, the entrance starts transforming. You can finally visualize where everything is going to sit: the gate, the lanterns, the surrounding landscape. It's all beginning to come together, and that's when the excitement really starts building, because now the finish line is finally in sight. Now comes the moment we've been working toward: installing the gate. This is always one of my favorite stages of any project. Months of planning, hours of fabrication, countless measurements, and now we finally get to see everything come together. Carefully moving the gate into position takes patience. A project like this doesn't leave much room for mistakes. Everything needs to line up correctly, everything needs to move correctly, and everything needs to look right. As the gate is lifted and positioned, you start getting the first glimpse of the final product. Even before everything is complete, you can already tell how much impact it's going to have. The artwork stands out, the steelwork stands out, and the entire entrance immediately feels more substantial, more welcoming, and more unique. This is one of those moments that makes all the effort worthwhile, because for the first time, the vision you've been carrying around in your head becomes reality. With the gate in place, attention turns to the final details. The lanterns get installed, the finishing touches are added, adjustments are made, and everything gets one final inspection. This is where patience pays off. The little details matter: the spacing, the alignment, the symmetry. All those small things add up to create the finished look. And when everything finally comes together, it's hard not to step back and appreciate the transformation. What started as raw steel has become a functional piece of art, a custom entrance built from scratch, and a project that combines fabrication, design, and craftsmanship into one final product. Standing back and looking at the completed gate, it's hard not to feel a sense of accomplishment. Projects like this require a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of problem solving, but that's also what makes them rewarding. The lanterns came out exactly how I envisioned them. The patriotic artwork adds a unique touch, and the entire entrance feels like something truly special. I want to thank everyone who's followed along with this build series. Your support means a lot and helps make projects like this possible. If you enjoyed watching this gate come together, make sure to stick around because there are plenty more fabrication projects on the way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
There he goes, it's a working man. He's trying to make a living any way he can. And he'll break his back for $1 or $2. in what he do.